All right, Bitcoin holders, welcome back to another brand new video. I hope you guys are all doing well. So yes, in today's video, I want to talk about Bitcoin, give you guys an update. What is exactly happening right now for Bitcoin? What can we expect to see for Bitcoin in Q4? Because I've been telling you guys many times, Q4 is going to be an amazing time for Bitcoin and crypto. So be prepared for that, guys. We're going to see some amazing moves happening, and understand that Bitcoin top is not in yet. Like I've been telling you guys many times, okay, Bitcoin will be going back up to its previous highs of $124,000, and it's not going to stop there. It's going to be going much higher, guys. Okay, so there is in fact a fair few charts that I want to show you guys for that. And what I really want to talk about for today's video is why buying fractions of a Bitcoin is important, why this actually matters, guys. Now, if you guys have in fact been watching my videos for the past a few years now, ever since I started my channel back early 2022, I've been talking about the topic of why it's important to accumulate one full Bitcoin, why it's actually pretty important to own a full Bitcoin. But you guys need to understand, you don't have to buy a full Bitcoin. Even just buying 10% of a Bitcoin, 0.1 Bitcoin, is a big deal. Okay, it really is, guys. It's actually pretty important to own fractions of a Bitcoin. If you're someone out there, okay, thinking to themselves, I may not ever own a full Bitcoin. By the way, you should never think like that, because it is possible, okay, to own a full Bitcoin, right? That's what you guys need to understand. Back when I started investing into Bitcoin back early 2021, I thought to myself, I would never own a full Bitcoin, but I did, right? So never ever doubt yourself that you will never own a full Bitcoin. Take baby steps, DCA into Bitcoin for a lifetime, for as long as you possibly can, and eventually, I bet you will eventually accumulate one full Bitcoin. But you guys need to understand, it's also a pretty big deal to own small fractions of a Bitcoin. Like, for example, 0.1 Bitcoin, 10% of a Bitcoin. In my personal opinion, I really do believe owning 0.1 Bitcoin, just 0.1 Bitcoin, 10% of a Bitcoin, is going to be a big deal in the future. And I do believe with 0.1 Bitcoin, you will be pretty wealthy. Okay, and I want to talk more about that in today's video. So before I talk about all that, of course, I want to quickly show you guys what is happening right now for Bitcoin. So you guys can clearly see, okay, Bitcoin has bounced back up to $111,000, as we all know. We're currently at the 1 hour time frame, and we did actually see Bitcoin, okay, earlier today bouncing back up to $112,000, okay, above that, okay, reached $112,000 500, right? You guys can clearly see that, but right now it's currently just below 112. Okay, it is slightly dropping, but in my opinion, Bitcoin is still looking pretty good. And you guys can clearly see Bitcoin is now slightly bouncing back up to the upside, right? You guys can clearly see that. So in my opinion, Bitcoin is still looking pretty good. And remember, guys, it is September, and as we all know, September is a pretty bearish month for Bitcoin. And look, it's already up 3%. Okay, and the best performing September was just last year in 2024, when we did see Bitcoin up 7%. So far, it is looking pretty good. This is a great start for September. But understand, guys, we are only 4 days into this month. Anything can happen at this point. And I do believe, okay, I still personally believe, right, that we could potentially see more corrections happening for Bitcoin, because historically, Bitcoin does not perform that great in the month of September. You guys can clearly see, usually September is the most bearish month for Bitcoin, right? You guys can clearly see that. That's why I've been telling guys, I'm not expecting anything huge to happen for Bitcoin. I'm expecting more corrections for Bitcoin in the next upcoming few weeks during this time period while we're in this bearish month, okay? But yeah, the crypto market today is slightly looking better than yesterday. We're not seeing huge moves today. I mean, some altcoins are still moving. Okay, some are actually in the greens today. Okay, and some actually holding up pretty well. Right, you have to clearly see right over here. Some altcoins are actually in the greens. Okay, some alts are up like over 2%, 3%, 4%. Some over 5%. Look at this one, up 35%. I have no idea what it is, but it's up 35%. So some altcoins are bouncing back up today. Some alts are down. Okay, you guys clearly see Polygon is down. But yeah, that is that, right? But yeah, looking at this, guys, Ethereum will be going much higher. That's what you guys need to understand. We did see Bitcoin having its run up, okay, and soon enough, Ethereum, okay, will follow, and doing the exact same thing what, Bitcoin did, okay, back in 2020, okay, 2020 to 2021. And it's looking pretty similar, right? So understand, guys, okay, Ethereum will be going much, much higher. That's what you guys need to understand. A couple of days ago, okay, not a couple of days, like a couple of weeks ago, we did actually see Ethereum reaching a new high of like $4,900. Didn't quite get to 5K, but it will eventually. So yeah, you guys need to understand Ethereum will be reaching 5K to 8K to potentially even $10,000 per ETH. That is very, very possible. So Ethereum holders, be prepared for that, okay? Now, look at this, guys. BlackRock, okay? They are buying Bitcoin. As we know, BlackRock, they've been, buying a fair bit of Bitcoin for the past, few months now and over a year, right? And looking at this, right, 14 hours ago, they actually sold some Bitcoin and then they bought back in just now, right? So as you can see, BlackRock buys over 658 Bitcoins. Okay, pretty much 658 Bitcoins, which is worth a whopping $73.6 million. They're loading up, guys. Okay, they're loading up. They understand that this is the best time to load up on Bitcoin. This is the best time to accumulate as much Bitcoin as they possibly can, because Q4 is going to be amazing for Bitcoin. So, guys, they are loading up, and I hope you guys are loading up on Bitcoin as well, right? We are seeing institutions, companies, governments, states, governments loading up. So, as retail investors like you and I, this is the best time to load up as well, guys, okay? So Benjamin says here, historically, Bitcoin finds a low in September of the post-halving year and then bounces off it into the market cycle top that occurs in Q4. Okay, so that's true. Like I said, guys, okay, usually, historically, September does find a low. And that's why I'm expecting Bitcoin to, go lower, right? Historically, right? September is just a very, very bearish month for Bitcoin. Bitcoin does not perform that great in the month of September. So that's why, guys, I'm not expecting too much for this month in September for Bitcoin. Okay. But you guys need to understand Q4, that's when things will change. We're going to see a beautiful reversal, and then Bitcoin will eventually bounce back up to its previous highs of $124,000 and even reaching new record highs. Okay, that is coming, guys. So be prepared for that. Okay, it is coming. And yeah, we're going to see this final leg up, and it could, potentially push Bitcoin to $190,000. I think this is very, very possible. Okay, as I've been telling guys many, many times now throughout my videos, that yes, my Bitcoin price prediction, I do see it reaching, for sure 150. I think that's an easy target, right? 180 to even $200,000, just like what this chart is in fact showing us here. So it is very, very possible that we can see Bitcoin going much, much higher. And this uptrend that we have, in fact, been seeing for Bitcoin ever since early 2023 to where we are right now. And I've been talking about this uptrend for a while now, right? I even talked about it in yesterday's video. So if you guys haven't seen yesterday's video, you should, definitely check it out. But yeah, this uptrend will continue. That's what you guys need to understand. Okay, this uptrend that we have, in fact, been seeing for over 2 years now, will continue for Bitcoin. Okay. And yes, it's going to be going to $190,000 to $200,000. I think this is, very, very possible for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin holders, get ready for that. Okay, new highs are coming. And looking at this overall, right? Bitcoin yearly tops and bottoms. Okay, so over the years from 2013 to all the way where we are right now in 2025, you can see nothing is going to stop this train, and that's true, right? We have seen Bitcoin reaching $100 for the first time ever back 2013, and then reached $1,000 and whatnot, and then reached $10,000 for the first time ever, and then it reached $100,000 for the first time ever. And you guys can clearly see the next milestone is $1 million. That is coming, guys. Okay, Bitcoin, like I said many, many times, will be reaching $1 million per coin. And this is why I think it's very, very important to accumulate a full Bitcoin, right? It is going to be pretty important, guys, right, to accumulate full Bitcoin, because you guys need to understand Bitcoin is going to be a digital asset that will be worth $1 million. And not just that, but millions of dollars per coin. 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. That's going to be happening. Of course, I am talking long term. Okay, not short term, long term here, guys. So the next few decades, right, that will be happening for Bitcoin. Please understand that, guys. And that's why I've been telling guys to save in Bitcoin, right? Buy Bitcoin and hold it. Treat Bitcoin like it's your own savings account. Okay, set yourself up for the future, for you and for your family, right? do that, guys. And of course, this is not financial advice. Always do your own research, study Bitcoin, and if you like, if you're bullish and you understand why Bitcoin is a great store of value, buy it and hold it. That is that. Okay, so always do your own research, guys. Okay, study Bitcoin. Right now, let's talk about this. Okay, this is what I really wanted to talk about. So you can buy a fraction of Bitcoin. Like I said, you don't have to buy a full Bitcoin, but you guys need to understand it will be the goal, right? This is the main destination to, accumulate full Bitcoin, because a lot of people out there want to accumulate full Bitcoin. Maybe you guys watching this video right now, you guys want to have that dream to, accumulate and own one full Bitcoin, because you guys need to understand today in 2025, right? This year, yeah, it is sort of rare to see someone owning a full Bitcoin. It is sort of rare. It's not extremely rare, but it is pretty rare to see an average person owning a full Bitcoin, right? It really is. But you guys need to understand in the next like 10 years, so by the year, 2035, it's going to be, in my opinion, extremely rare to see someone owning a full Bitcoin. Because by that time, I think Bitcoin will be beyond $1 million per coin, okay, in the next 10 years, even sooner than that. Right? There's a lot of predictions out there that people are saying by the year like 2030, we're going to see Bitcoin over $1 million. There's a lot of predictions like that. Like, for example, Kathy Wood, she has predicted that we will see Bitcoin by the year 2030. The most bullish scenario is like $1.5 million. So that's like over $1 million. Okay, so that's her prediction. We will have to see about that. But yes, 100 million Satoshis, okay, is equal to 1 Bitcoin, okay, and then 10 million Satoshis is equal to 0.1 Bitcoin, which is 10% of a Bitcoin, and then 1% of a Bitcoin, 0.01 Bitcoin, is 1 million Satoshis, okay? So take baby steps, guys. Accumulate, right? Whether it's 100 Satoshis, 1,000, 10,000, or 100,000 Satoshis, just accumulate, buy what you can, okay? And I bet you guys, you will eventually, get to a full Bitcoin if you just simply start stacking Satoshis, okay? Whether it's every day you're buying small amounts of Satoshis, or is it weekly or fortnightly, right? Every 2 weeks, okay? Or monthly, okay? Just find what works out for you, okay? And I bet you guys, you will eventually get to, 1% of a Bitcoin, and then 10% of a Bitcoin, okay? And then eventually you will get to a full Bitcoin, okay? It's gonna happen, guys. Don't doubt yourself. You will eventually get to a full Bitcoin. But even, this is what I really want to talk about, even just owning 10% of a Bitcoin, 0.1 Bitcoin is a big deal. I have made a fair few videos why I think owning 0.1 Bitcoin is going to be a big deal. And I will talk more about that in today's video. So to own 0.1 Bitcoin, how much is that right now? Okay, for the Bitcoin price. So the Bitcoin price right now is just over $111,000, and to buy 0.1 Bitcoin right now will be over $11,000 USD. Okay, just over $11,000. Okay, to buy 0.1 Bitcoin today, when the Bitcoin price is over 100K, when it's at $111,000. Okay, you would need over $11,000, just over $11,000 to buy 0.1 Bitcoin. Okay, just remember that, right? So if you guys are watching this video right now and you own 0.1 Bitcoin, don't sell that, okay? That's just my personal opinion. What I would do, okay, is to store that 10% of a Bitcoin, right, that 0.1 Bitcoin into a hardware wallet, okay? Store it in there and forget about it, okay? And, let's just say I finally, reach 0.1 Bitcoin. Should I stop accumulating Bitcoin? Should I stop, accumulating Satoshis? No, personally, I would not stop. I would still stack, continue to stack as much, Satoshis as I possibly can. Even if I finally get to a full Bitcoin, should I stop? No. Personally, you can never have enough Bitcoins, okay, / Satoshis. So keep stacking, guys, okay? So yeah, it is very important to own 0.1 Bitcoin. I mean, Eric Trump here predicts, 0.1 Bitcoin could make you rich in the future, okay? And that is true, okay? I mean, 0.1 Bitcoin, owning 0.1 Bitcoin could actually make you pretty wealthy down in the future. And I will explain more why, guys. But looking at this, right, CZ says here, okay, back in June, so a couple months back, right, he says here, this is great to see. Bitcoin count as assets for mortgage. The current American dream is to own a home. The future American dream will be to own 0.1 Bitcoin, which will be more than the value of a house in the US. Okay, so CZ is saying here that owning 0.1 Bitcoin is the American dream. Okay, and yes, it can be. It was, the American dream was to own a home. Now the American dream has changed to owning 0.1 Bitcoin, because the 0.1 Bitcoin in the future can easily buy you a house. Okay, and I bet many more other things as well. Okay, and I will explain more why, right? But yeah, like what he says here, which will be more of the value of a house in the US. Okay, so he is saying here that 0.1 Bitcoin, can easily get your house in the US, guys. I mean, yeah, that is very true because of where Bitcoin is heading, right, down in the future. Okay, so yes, clearly see, I've showed you guys this many times. Price of a home versus Bitcoin in US dollars. 2016, a house was almost, $300,000, and you would need over 600 Bitcoins, 664 Bitcoins to buy that home in 2016, right? And then in 2020, look at this, it gets crazy. Price of a home jumps to over 300K, right? And you would just need 45 Bitcoins. Okay, look at this, in 2024, price of a home has jumped to over 400K, and you would just need less than 10 Bitcoins, 6.6 Bitcoins. So you guys can just clearly see right over here, you would need less and less Bitcoins to buy a home. Okay, and I've told you guys this many times. I really do believe down in the future, you would just need probably less than one full Bitcoin to buy a home. Okay, and this is why I always tell you guys, right? Buying Bitcoin is a much better investment than real estate, in my opinion, right? And this just clearly showed you guys this, right? So that is that. Get to at least 0.1 Bitcoin, guys. Okay, if you guys really think about it, okay, 0.1 Bitcoin. Okay, buying that right now is like $11,000, over $11,000 USD. Okay, and we know, maybe you guys don't know, but we know as Bitcoiners, Bitcoin holders, okay, Bitcoin will be reaching at least $10 million and beyond. That is going to be happening. Whether you guys believe it or not, whether you guys like it or not, whether you guys are ready or not, it's going to be happening for Bitcoin, right? We're going to see the Bitcoin price reaching $10 million and beyond. So for you to own 0.1 Bitcoin, that is $1 million right there. Okay, you own 0.1 Bitcoin, Bitcoin reaches $10 million per coin. That is $1 million. Just think about that. And to buy 0.1 Bitcoin is $11,000. So from a $11,000 investment, and for it to jump to $1 million, who knows how long that will take, maybe in the next like over 10 years, maybe. That's amazing. Okay, it really is. And imagine you don't own just 0.1 Bitcoin. Imagine you own 0.2 Bitcoin. So double of 0.1 Bitcoin, right? You own 0.2 Bitcoin, 0.3. Just think about that. Okay, you own 0.3 Bitcoin, that's $3 million. You own one full Bitcoin, that's $10 million. That's $10 million right there. Just think about that, guys. Okay. So guys, owning fractions of Bitcoin is actually a big deal. Okay, I know you guys want to become wealthy. I know you guys want to become, a millionaire. And I know you guys want to have, because I know a lot of us as human beings want this. Okay, you guys want some type of freedom in life. And I truly do believe in a way you will get that by simply stacking Satoshis, buying and holding Bitcoin. Okay, save in Bitcoin, guys. Study Bitcoin, understand why Bitcoin is a great long-term investment. It's a great, long-term investment, of course, that has store value. It's a hedge against inflation, which is great, right? And I really do believe this is truly the easiest way to become wealthy. It really is, guys, because all you're doing is just buying and holding Bitcoin, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to trade it, right? All you got to do is just DCA, right? Dollar cost average into Bitcoin and hold it and do nothing. That is it. And of course, guys, this is not financial advice, so always do your own research. Okay, and that's why personally, ever since I understood Bitcoin, where it's heading, why it's important to buy and hold Bitcoin, right? I've just been stacking. And ever since I've been stacking Bitcoin, for the past 5 years now, it's been a couple of years, which is crazy to, think about. Ever since I've been stacking Bitcoin for 5 years, I haven't sold. Not even $1 worth of Bitcoins. I have not sold a dime of my Bitcoins. Not even a dime. I've just been simply buying more and holding. That's it. Right? That is it. Okay. And I'm planning to still simply stack as much Bitcoin as I possibly can and holding it. I'm not planning on selling any of my Bitcoins, right? My plan is to use my Bitcoins, down in the future to buy things with, because I really do believe Bitcoin is going to be the money, okay, and more, companies, okay, and whatnot, right? Businesses will start accepting Bitcoin as payment, and we are already seeing that. Like, for example, in the UAE, in Dubai, for example, you can actually use your Bitcoins to buy things with. Okay, you can actually use your Bitcoins to buy cars, watches, even properties in Dubai. Just think about that. That's what I'm going to be using my Bitcoins for. I'm not going to be selling my Bitcoins for fiat, right? Because I feel like that beats the purpose on why you guys are buying Bitcoin, right? Is to beat fiat, right? Inflation and whatnot. So I would never sell my Bitcoins for fiat. Instead, down in the future, I'm going to be using it to buy things with. Okay, so that is that. But guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully, you guys understand why it is important to own a fraction of a Bitcoin, like for example, 0.1 Bitcoin, right? 10% of it. And yeah, you won't regret it. Okay, you won't regret buying fractions of a Bitcoin. Okay, so guys, take baby steps. Get to 1% of a Bitcoin, 0.01, and then 10%, right? 0.1, and then 0.2, 20% of a Bitcoin, and then 0.5, right? Half of a Bitcoin. And then I bet you will eventually get to a full Bitcoin. And that's going to be amazing. You're going to set yourself up for the future and for your family as well. Okay, so that is that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and of course, subscribe to the channel. That is always much, much appreciated. And yeah, I will catch you guys all in the next video. Have a good one, guys.